first thing that we've been doing, because things have changed a little bit, is we go into modules, and I'm not sure if the bell's rung or not, but we're going to go ahead and get started and do attendance. So go down to, I hope I updated this. Let me see, I may have to update it real quick. Yeah, I did. All right, so we're going to do this, and we're going to do them together. So, I think she's with Mr. Steele. I don't know. All right, so we're going to do these together. So for this, these are extra credit points, so you'll want to do it with me. Click on the submit assignment at the top, and it says to classify and balance. So we're going to do two things here. Um, to classify, yesterday we learned that if you have an equation that is a plus b equals ab, this is synthesis. If it is ab arrow a plus b, it's decomposition. If it is a plus bc yields b plus ac, this is single replacement. You may see different letters for those. You have AB plus CD, and you have CB plus AD. This is double replacement or displacement. You may see that term. All right, so if we look at these, number one, it has one thing because it's all written together, and it's giving us two things at the end. So that matches up with decomposition. So for part of number one, you're going to write decomposition. The next part is to balance this. So to go over balancing, on my board here, I'm going to rewrite it. And I take each capital letter grouping, so K, CL goes together, and O. I'm going to count the atoms. No number by it, it's 1. So there's one K and one CL on the left, and 3 O's here. On the right, 1 CL, 1 K, 2 O's. So I know to get these to be the same, if I multiply by 2 on this side and by 3 on this side, I will get 6 for my O's. On the left, this 2 has to go where the O is, so it's going to go here. Then that means that not only is it affecting the O, it's also affecting the K and the CL, so I have 2 of those. Over here, I'm going to put this 3 on the right-hand side in front of the O2. Well, the O is by itself, so it doesn't really affect anything else. Well, now my K and CL are not balanced. So to get them balanced, I need to go times 2. And that 2 that I'm multiplying by is going to go in front of the KCL. So to save time typing, you could write this with just the coefficients. After decomposition, you could write 2, comma, 2, comma, 3. Instead of retyping all of this and worrying about the different subscripts and stuff. So that would be the answer to number 1 in the text box. Number 2, we're going to look at this equation. I have 2 things together plus 1 thing. And then I have 1 thing by itself with 2 different things together. And that's going to match my single replacement here. So for number 2, we're going to write single replacement. And then we're going to balance. So I'm going to erase on my board here. And I'm going to write out the equation to balance. And that is AU 2S3 plus H2 yields AU plus H2S. So I'm going to go put my combinations. That goes together, AU, S, and H. Those are the same letters I should have on both sides. This side, left side, I have 2 AUs, 3 S's, and 2 H's. On this side, I have one AU, one S, and two H's. So I'm going to look at my sulfurs first, and I am going to balance here. So if I put a 3 on this side, that gives me a 3 here, but my sulfur is attached on the right to an S. No, that is my S, to an H. So I have to multiply that also. So now my H's are at 6. Well, if I come on the other side, the left side, if I multiply the H by 3 on that side, I get 6. So that 3 goes in front of the H. So my H's are balanced, my S's are balanced, my silvers are not. So on the right side, I do times 2 and put a 2 in front of the silver and or the gold. Can't remember which one AU is. And it is 2. So now it's balanced. So in this case, I didn't put anything in front of the first one. I can indicate that with a 1. So comma. The next big number I put was a 3, comma, then a 2, and then a 3. So if you didn't put a number, you replace that with a 1, and that way I know where the numbers were in that to save you from having to type that. You have this typed in. You submit assignment under the text box, and that gets you extra credit points for doing attendance. And then we're going to come to the modules, and we're going to go down to where we've been working under reactions. And I guess I need to make it live. And basically, we're going to be practicing balancing and classifying reactions. So yesterday, there was a video and a web quest on classifying, and today we're going to be balancing. So what I'm going to do here is we're going to practice a couple of these. I wanted to come back to that. All right, so we're going to go here, and we're going to just identify what type of equation these are. So using what we learned yesterday, we are identifying, I guess you're going to sit here today.
My desk was stolen.
Yeah. Okay.
Desk was stolen.
So we did the attendance chain, it's right here. And I decided if you don't want to retype those complicated formulas in, you can just put the coefficients in the right order underneath. All right, so if I look here, I like to look at capital letters to try to figure out what it is. So I have an Na, and my PO4 is a polyatomic, so it operates as one thing. So I have Na here, and I have PO here. All right, then I have K here and OH here because it's a polyatomic and it's not being split up. And my K is right here. So if I notice on the left, what I've underlined in green and blue are together, but notice that they kind of switch partners. I call this the wife swap show because they are swapping wives for the products. And so it's always going to be the metal. They're going to flip-flop places. So when you have two that change places, that's your double replacement. Notice here it says displacement, same thing. You can just write double.
What is this under?
Reactions, chemical reactions. But this isn't under, this is just my lesson. And then we're going to practice. I'm reviewing a couple of these. I want to skip down to number 4. I have PB, PB, all right, and then I have Fe, and SO4 stays together. So notice that only one thing switches places. So this one would be single. Here they're calling it displacement, and what I said was replacement, same thing. Number 5, I start off with one thing, and I am left with two things at the end. So one thing together and get two things, it is decomposition. We'll just go over an example of each. And then 6, you have P, and then you have O. They're separate, but then on the left-hand side, they are together. So this would be synthesis. And the only one up there is combustion. All right, combustion will always have oxygen here as a reactant on the left-hand side, carbon dioxide and water on the right-hand side, and that will be combustion. You may or may not have any combustions, but the other 4 you need to be able to recognize. So what you're going to be doing in today's activity is you're going to have to balance and say what it is. In this little example, they call synthesis combination, but I don't. So you're going to have to balance and then write what it is. So that's what your practice sheet is about. I think in your practice sheet that I have up here, I remember what I said in the directions. Did I not put any directions? All right, we're going to do, and I can write it here because it will be on there for everybody. You're going to do even only. So that's 2, 4, so forth. So you're going to do even only. Now, if you want to do this on paper, I will give you a sheet of notebook paper. You can copy this from here, do your work on paper. What we can do is then you can take a picture of it. We can go down here to image, and because you take a picture using your Chromebook camera, it'll be in a file or your Drive one, probably Drive would be best. Find that screen or that picture you take, and you can input it here, and then I can use that to grade your work. If you don't want to type in here, you can work on paper and then type in your answers, but do only the even. Only the even. So I'm going to go back here. I'm going to stop the recording.